Welcome back. All right, so 4 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Let's go ahead and discuss, keeping in mind that tomorrow is Saturday and things are going to get busy tomorrow. So, that being said, starting things off, we've got Pittsburgh in against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs have been turning it around recently. We'll see if this game derails things. So it was DeSmith versus Shalgren. This is the Hall of Fame game. They had guys like Sittler and Salming on the ice, and Salming, the ovation and just the outpouring of affection towards the Leafs, great, moved him to tears. It was a great ceremony. So that was nice. That was honestly, it was really nice. They of course had the ceremony for the guys going into the hall as well, and that was nice too. So after all that, one thing that I've seen often with ceremonies before games, whether it's a jersey retirement or anything, it can throw off the home team. In this case, it didn't. There's an early press by the Leafs. Archibald has a rush that's held. That was a 2-on-1. Leafs get a power play. Nylander's denied. Penguins clear it out. Power play's killed off, but it managed 3 shots. Penguins press at 6.5 minutes. Melgan then had a rush chance. That was held. Zucker whiffs on one as the Penguins press. Pettersson's denied. Penguins had momentum, but then the puck goes the other way, and on a rebound, it's Aston Reese from Melgan and Kampf at 13:49. It's 1-0 Toronto. And the Leafs look for another. They had some momentum at that point. Power play number 2 for the Leafs. Kampf gets denied. DeHold holds onto one, or DeSmith holds onto one. Sorry, DeSmith holds onto it, and things get pushy after that. But that power play is killed off. Malkin would tie it in the final minute, so 19-24. It's one of those backbreakers, right? From Raquel and Ruedel. And a little bit of puck luck on that, I believe, was Brody that it bounced off of right to Malkin. So it's 1-1 after one. And early in the second, at 1:08, Zucker scores from Malkin. So that makes it 2-1 for Pittsburgh all of a sudden. A goal in the last minute of the first, a goal just outside the first minute of the second. Marner then fumbled on a break. DeSmith saved. It wasn't much chance for Marner on that. The puck was just thrown to him at an angle. He couldn't really pick it up. The Leafs would press at 3 minutes. Nylander's denied on a net drive. The shots are 6-1 in Toronto's favor at 6 minutes, but the one shot for Pittsburgh went in the net. Riley has a rush chance that's held. We get some pushing after that. The Penguins get a power play. During that, Kampf had a shorthanded rush that would end it. The Leafs would press afterwards. The Penguins press back with 9 minutes left. The Leafs get a power play. Marner has a shot that's held, but then Nylander would score on the power play to tie the game from Riley and Tavares at 17-17. And then the Leafs looked for the lead, so some momentum to the Leafs. Then Malkin was denied on a 2-on-1, so it's 2-2 after 2. Third period, early, again, 1:54, and it's on a turnover. Heinen gets it to McGinn. McGinn buries it, and so that makes it 3-2 in favor of the Penguins. Tavares hits the side of the netting close. The Leafs are having turnover issues. Zucker has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 4-2 for the Penguins at 6.5 minutes. The Leafs would press at the half. Not a lot of shots on net, though. Nylander has a rush that's defended. Few whistles as well in that third period, which really favors the road team here. They're up by a goal. Goalie pull with 1:45 left. There's an empty net miss by Rust. McGinn and Archibald both missed the empty net too. So it looked like, hey, it's only a 1-goal game if Toronto can score. But Gensel would hit the empty net. Crosby with the assist at 19:47. That puts it out of reach. Final score is 4-2 for the Penguins. They go to 6-2 with the win. The Leafs fall to 7-5-3 with the loss. So they've won 7 out of 15. But the way that the NHL works, there's still 2 games above 500. Your shots, 10-7 Toronto in the first, 16-9 Toronto in the second, and then Pittsburgh shuts it down. They outshot them 7-4 in the third. Final shots, 30-23 for Toronto. Power plays, Pittsburgh only had 1. They didn't score on it. Toronto was 1 for 3. The hits were 41-14 in favor of Pittsburgh. DeSmith saves 28 out of 30. He was very good. Shalgren saves 19 out of 22, and they've confirmed that Murray won't be starting tomorrow. So Shalgren may very well be going again tomorrow as they play against the Vancouver Canucks. But we shall see. All right, next up. Tampa Bay in against Washington. These teams meet again on Sunday in what will be, I think, kind of a feisty rematch. Sadly, it won't get as much of my attention as this one did, as on Sunday at that time, there's 3 or 4 games going on at the same time. In this case, it was only the 2 for most of it. So it's Vasilevsky versus Kemper. There's a near miss for Dowd on the opening shift. Sherry had a tip that was saved. Caps had the early edge in this one. Ovechkin has a rush chance that's saved. Then there's a post for Stamkos on a rush opportunity. Point fires one wide on a rush. Good back and forth at this point in the game. Very exciting game. Kucherov's robbed on a break. and then the rebound he couldn't bury either, so he's denied twice. Caps press at 7.5 minutes. Kuznetsov has a tip that's held, and then the Capitals open the scoring. It's Mantha from Eller at 10:32. It was a great pass by Eller, and Mantha buries it. Bolts then get a power play. There's a near miss for Colton. We end up with 9 seconds of 4-on-4, and then the Capitals get a power play. Everything gets killed off there. It's 1-0 Washington after 1. Second period, Carlson has a rush chance. That deflects wide. Aube-Kubel with a head hit on foot. I expect a suspension for Aube-Kubel on this one. And, it's weird because they just picked him up on waivers this week. I don't remember Aube-Kubel being involved in anything like this before, but yeah, it was definitely a head hit on foot. And then what happens is they're reviewing it to see if it should be 5 minutes. So the doors are open to the bench. Guys are coming onto the ice and skating around, and then you can see the replay on the board. Well, that makes the Tampa Bay guys go kind of nuts. And I don't mean out of control, just they were rightfully really angry. So Maroon, probably preferring to find Aube-Kubel, he finds a dance partner in Hathaway, and so they have a fight while other guys are pairing off too, and there's 14 guys on the ice. So that, back in the 70s, it would have been everybody on the ice. That it was that hot. The emotions were that high at that point. So that's during the review too. So referees are looking at, is it a 5 minute? Is it a 2? And guys are punching each other. So craziness. So keep an eye on the game on Sunday and see what happens, especially in the event that Aube-Kubel doesn't get suspended. I would think the NHL should do the smart thing and at least suspend him for the next game on Sunday. So Stamkos is denied when we go back to hockey. Point fires one high. Eller has a shorthanded rush. That deflects high because, of course, it's a 5-minute power play for Tampa Bay. So they had the opportunities, but Washington kills it off. Now, Sonny Milano was put in the box to serve the penalty for Aube-Kubel, and he scores out of the box on a break. So it's Milano from Carlson at 7:03. So that's a double kick to Tampa Bay. They're now without Foote, who left the game, didn't come back. And now they're down 2-0 after they couldn't score on the 5-minute power play. So Koepke gets denied on a fast break. There's a near miss then for Strome. Really good back and forth again. This game was pretty wide open. Caps press at 9 minutes. Point breaks up a 3-on-2. And then Protas. Nice play by Protas. Might have been the nicest goal I've seen him score. He buries a rebound from Jensen Faravari at 14:25. Things get shovey after a hold by Kemper. The Caps get a power play. That's killed off. Trevor Van Riemsdyk fires one high then as the Caps press. 28.8 seconds left. The Caps get another power play. And there's a near miss for Ovechkin before we hit the buzzer. So we're going to the third with the Caps up 3-0. The shots were close. In fact, they favored Tampa, but Washington was getting the goals. Foote did not return. I've got that to start the third. Caps get a power play. It's their third in a row. And Tampa Bay did kill that off. Sherry, though, would score at 4:53 from Mantha and Milano. So Milano with a goal and an assist. It is weird how he's bounced around and nobody wanted him, and now he's scoring again in the NHL. It's another Rem Pitlick. So aggressive penalty kill. When the Caps go back to the power play, Tampa Bay kills off another one. Bolts then get a power play. That's killed off, but Perbix ruins the shutout. He scores from Belmar and Cole at 12:09. I'm glad Belmar got an assist because he's got to be all bruised up from the shot blocks he was doing out there tonight too. Things get brawly with 5:40 left. The Caps end up going to the power play. And you knew that was going to happen at some point after the hit on Foote. You knew that at some point it was going to blow up, and it did with 5:40 left. Now I say brawly, but it's 2022 brawly, not 1990s or 1970s brawly. Sergachev was hurt. It was an Ovechkin shot that hit him on the arm, so that hurts. And they do kill that off in part because Sergachev does the shot block there. I'm pretty sure he stayed in the game, but at this point, Tampa was down to 4 defensemen. Milano would score from Kuznetsov and Ovechkin. That one goes in off Stamkos at 17:45. So Stamkos trying to make the right play there. He ends up putting it in his own net. Your final score is 5-1 for Washington. They even the record now. They're 7-7-2. For the Lightning, they're 7-6-1. So again, we're starting to see teams all ending up with very similar records. Shots 9-7 Tampa Bay in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 9-6 Tampa in the third. Final shots 29-24 for Tampa. Power plays Tampa 0-3. Washington 0-6. Hits were 15-13 Tampa. I'm surprised there weren't more hits. Vasilevsky 19 saves on 24 shots. That's not a stat line we're used to from Vasi. Kemper with 28 saves on 29 shots. Kemper's a pretty good goalie when he's on, as Washington fans have learned. All right, next up, San Jose in against Dallas. I would call this a trap game if not for the fact that Dallas lost their last game handedly against the Jets. So they should have been more fired up, and they kind of were, but Ottinger was back tonight, and as excited as I was, I wonder if they rushed him back because he just didn't seem to be the regular Ottinger tonight. So it was Reimer versus Ottinger. The hitting ramped up early. It didn't stay at that level, but early on we were seeing some hits. Blumel's denied on a fast break, so in his first game in the NHL, he was prominent at times. And then Jamie Benn, he scores at .442. He wired it top corner on a 2-on-1. Ben's playing very well right now. The best hockey, I would argue, that he's played in the last 4 years. And if you look at the stats, yeah, it backs that up. Sharks get a power play, and they score on it. It's Barabanov from Hurdle and Couture at 6:13, so that lead does not last. San Jose played a really solid road game, and it only took 10 seconds into the power play, and it was a screen shot. Sharks press at the half. Eventually, on a turnover, they get the lead. It's Svechnikov from Lindblom at 12:18. The Sharks then get a power play. Dallas kills that off. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 with roughing for one, and I think it was high sticking for the other. Barabanov misses an empty net. And then at 1939, Ben ties the game. He gets the second of the period from Dellandrea, and he roofed it at 1939. So not only is Jamie Benn getting goals, they're nice goals. So something has to have changed with Jamie Benn recently, whether it's up here, whether it's something physical. He's playing much better. Second period. This is where San Jose kind of wins the game here. So it's Meyer from LeBanc at 29 seconds. He wires it from the slot. Sloppy play by Dallas. And it continues afterwards. Couture scores from Barabanov at 1:05. So 2 goals in the first minute and 5 seconds allowed by Dallas. You can't do that. So Dallas presses at 6 minutes. Reimer holds. Hakanpää has a shot that's held as the Stars press. They signaled a goal for the Stars. The interesting thing is Tyler Seguin knew the puck didn't go in. He didn't celebrate. He skates to the bench, and he just kind of shook his head. He knew that puck didn't go in, and there you go. It didn't go in. He was right. So Seguin then broke up a 2-on-1 in his next shift. The Stars had momentum in the second half. They couldn't solve Reimer there. Kiviranta was denied from the side of the net. We then had a fight between Couture and Ben. Did Ben get an assist? No. He just misses out on the Gordie Howe. No Sharks shots after that 4-2 goal for the rest of the period. And they come out of that period with a 4-2 lead. And then, third period, 29 seconds in, the exact same time as it was in the second period. This time it's Hurdle from Megna and Meyer. So all of a sudden, San Jose's up 5-2. And he buried that one in close. So Dallas not starting the period on time in both the second and third period. Stars then get a power play. Shimmick prevents a goal. They killed that off. LeBanc's denied in close. The shots are only 2 apiece at 6 minutes, but at 6:18, Rope Hintz scores from Robertson and Pavelski. It was post and in. It was a good forecheck by that line. You're going to get at least a goal from that line every game. Meyer then has a net drive that's saved, and then they make it more interesting. Pavelski gets a goal from Robertson and Heiskanen at 12:06. Pavelski just buries the rebound. It got kicked right out to him by Reimer. So that makes it 5-4. Meyer was then denied on a breakaway. Big save there by Ottinger, probably his best save of the game. Goalie pull with 2:05 left. A timeout is called by Dallas with 1:44 left. Pavelski's denied, and Nieto ends up hitting the post on the empty net try. Doesn't matter. In the end, the final score is 5-4 for San Jose. They go to 4-9-3 with the win. Disappointing loss for Dallas. They dropped to 8-5-1. Shots are 11-7 San Jose in the first, 11-4 Dallas in the second, 11-3 Dallas in the third. Final shots 29-18 in favor of Dallas. Power play San Jose 1 for 2. Dallas 0 for 1. The hits 23-17 for San Jose. Reimer saves 25 out of 29. Ottinger saved 13 out of 18. Again, it was not the best game for Ottinger. That's going to just sink his save percentage on the season. But he'll come back. He'll improve. I do worry that maybe he came back too early, but again, we'll see, right? Next up, and last up, was the game that didn't have goals in it. It's Minnesota and Seattle. This is the style of hockey Seattle plays this year. Watching Sportsnet, watching the end of Hockey Central, and the question was asked, is Seattle for real? And their answer was, nah, no. And I thought, okay, so this is just from a point of view of people that aren't watching. Seattle's just not allowing shots. They are playing a modern version of the trap. It can be a tough watch, but it has been part of the reason that they've managed to win as many games as they have early in the year. So it's Fleury versus Jones, and the ESPN feed was not working on either Sportsnet Now or on NHL Center Ice. And it's something that seems to only happen with the ESPN Plus games. I know I'm in Canada. I think it's something to do with that. So I had a choice between the radio. There's other streaming things. So I did catch what was going on. Early power play for the Kraken. Dumba blocks a shot from Sprong. That power play is killed off. Schmaltz was denied. The Wild would clear it out shortly thereafter. Foligno has a wraparound. That was blocked. Foligno back in the lineup, I think, was important for Minnesota tonight. He was prominent. Borgen then defends a Beckman net drive. Beniers has a turnover chance. That was saved. Things get pushy after Seattle's net comes off, because why not? Wild get a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots managed by the Wild on that one. Seattle presses, draws themselves a power play. That's killed off, and that's as Vince Dunn had a shot that was held by Fleury. Before the period's out at 18-19, it is Zuccarello scoring from Merrill to make it 1-0. That was on a good press. Bit of a scrambly play. And so Zuccarello with one that he's going to be happy with. I think they said he'd gone 6 games without a goal before this. So we're going to the second period with Minnesota ahead 1-0. Full Seattle power play to start, too. So that's... I mean, it's good and bad, because if you lose that first faceoff and you've got that power play to start the period, it's pretty easy for that team to kill at least 30 seconds to start the period. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1 that misfires. The power play, though, is killed off. Things get pushy after a hold by Fleury. Shaw's denied on a net drive. The shots are 5-2 for Seattle at the half, so they were getting opportunities. Minnesota wasn't getting much. And again, that's Seattle's game. They just completely limit shots against, and it seems to be working really well for them. And I know that sounds really simplistic, but it's something I've noticed with their games recently, that they're playing this really kind of suffocating style of hockey. Gord has a shot held. Fleury was really solid to this point, to the surprise of no one. McCann had a rush chance. That was saved. Jones then denies Kaprizov, but on that play, the Wild end up going to the power play. Addison has a shot that's held as that power play comes to an end. There wasn't a whole lot to write about during said power play. The Wild press afterwards on the very next shift. There's another Wild power play. That's killed off. No shots. So, not a lot going on with the power plays in this game. Dunn couldn't hit a buzzer beater, and we're going to the third period with it still being 1-0 Minnesota. Early power play for the Kraken. There was a shorthanded break for Shaw. That was saved by Jones, who had a very good game as well. That's killed off. There's not much that goes on, and no shots. So Shaw got the best opportunity during the power play for Seattle. So the shots are 2-1 for the Wild at 4.5 minutes. It was not the most exciting game. It felt like a Wild Seattle game. The Wild are capable of playing that defensive suffocating style too. So it kind of turned into that, where the center of the ice was just completely blocked off. Boldy has a rush shot. That's kicked aside. Gord had a net drive that was defended. He didn't get there. Neither team getting a lot of room out there, as I just said, and it's on the board, so I'll say it again. Dewar has a rush. That's defended. Bjorkstrand's then denied and close. Burakovsky fires one high as Seattle presses. Things get pushy after a hold by Jones. Schultz has a blast that deflects out. Sprong has a rush chance that's held. They would pull the goaltender with 2:08 left, and they didn't really get much. Seattle did not get a lot of really good looks at the net. This was Minnesota shutting things down, and Minnesota wins 1-0. They go back above 500. They're 7-6-1 now. For Seattle, they dropped to 8-5-2. So their winning streak is done. Kucherov's point streak is done. I mentioned both in the news video. So if you're a fan of the Capitals, if you're a fan of the Wild, you owe me $5. All right, you don't. Shots are 8-6 Minnesota in the first. Like anybody would listen to that. 8-7 Seattle in the second, and 12-6 Seattle in the third. The final shots are 26-21 for Seattle. Power plays: Minnesota 0-3, Seattle 0-4, which is unusual. Seattle's power play is usually pretty good. Hits 29-19 Seattle. Fleury saves all 26 shots for his 72nd career shutout, and Jones 20 saves on 21 shots, continues to improve that save percentage. And as probably one of the few big Martin Jones fans, I guess I'm happy about that, and I don't know if there's that many people, that many other people that are. But I always felt bad for Jones in San Jose towards the end of his time there. I didn't think he was as bad as the stats looked like, and his numbers have turned around in Seattle. So we'll see if that continues. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts about these games in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.